Hey there, you're watching part 2 of my really long episode of Mibibli's Quest. If you haven't seen part 1 already, then click the link right here and it'll take you to it. Otherwise, you're going to be seeing wieners and you'll have no idea what's going on. Okay, I'm going to jump you right back in the episode. You ready? Go! Well, let's get straight to the review and hopefully make more sense in the game. First up is gameplay, and oh boy, this is a tough one. So as I've been saying the whole video, this game is an absolute joy to play. The randomness, the jokes, Every game needs a self-respecting level of Simon Says. Okay. Alright, well, that was easy. Okay, yeah, I totally got this. You're dead to me! The mechanics are as solid as they can get in platformers without being too cumbersome, and the majority of the game's levels are phenomenal and showcases some of the most creative ideas in platformer history. Despite contrary belief, Mibibli's Quest shows that we still haven't seen everything retro platformers have to offer. The deliverance of the dialogue is fantastic too. Repeatedly throughout the game, the fourth wall will be shattered and beaten to the ground in the most beautiful way possible. There's even one cutscene that goes on for 2 minutes saying how much the game sucks and how stupid I am. Hey, I mean, whatever you gotta do to get your worries out, Ryan. So with that said, there's a lot of weird design choices in the game that really hurt it if I look at it critically. First of all, there's no pause button, and the game is sure to apologize in the README file, which ain't gonna cut it, bub. I mean, it's not a big deal since you could just turn off the volume and walk away or something, but it's certainly a weird choice. There's no volume controls either. You have to download Joy to Key and map keys to play with the controller, and on top of all this stuff, I ran into a handful of crashes in my run. Oh, and here's a doozy. There's a secret glitch world that you can activate, but the world can also crash your game and you can never escape. Ironically, the creator said that he couldn't fix all the crash bugs in the glitch world, so he left it like that intentionally. So yeah, how the heck do I review that? Anyway, back to the design. As I said before, each level in the game is memorable, and if you ask me about any of them, I'll be able to name tons of things about each one that I enjoy. Something I don't think I've ever been able to do before. Suburbs has these moons with the faces you gotta shoot down, and then one really big disproportionate old dude. Crystal Cars has these moving cars that shift around everywhere, underwater, on the tracks, and at the end goes so fast that you're blown back by the speed. Cave has this broken glass everywhere with this one guy holding a sign. You okay there, buddy? And this huge robot thing that you can shoot electric spheres from. And that's all just off the top of my head. They're great! Except for Digital Land. Oh my god, don't get me started on that level. Now I know that it's usually nitpicky to count one level as a flaw in the game, but seriously, f Digital Land. It almost made me quit the game. The whole stage is set around a binary theme, and it sounds clever in concept. Ones and zeros attack you, and all these virus things are all over the place, but the platforms are also set in binary. If you're near the next block, it'll tell you which ones are see-through and which ones aren't, but when you're jumping further away, you have to jump on closed blocks so they open. Oh, and when you land, it doesn't tell you exactly where it's safe. It shifts around a bit, but your next jump may be so close that the blocks are closed where you need to go, but are actually closed since you're in close range. If you're really confused right now, I was the same way. It's infuriating. This was probably the worst hour of retrying and trying again of platforming I've ever done in my life, but the design does make it totally fair. It's just that it was way more cryptic than it needed to be, and as a result, wasn't fun in the slightest. Now anyway, the rest of the game isn't as confusing, but wow, this game is hard! The later levels are really gonna give you a run for your money, and you are going to yell, "No!" and hit things, and potentially throw your controller into dangerous places, but it's all fair game design mixed with really well implemented gimmicks. Luckily, if you get too upset at the game, you can switch difficulty levels at any time so you don't get stuck, so if you're a platformer veteran, start on easy. If you're a casual player, take very easy, and if you're insane, take Mibibli mode. But we'll talk more about that in the spoiler section. So with all of this in mind, gameplay's getting a good for me. Next up is visuals, and Ryan did a really solid job here. The worlds are really well crafted, the enemies are memorable, and styles that are meant to be terrifying are actually terrifying. There's no jump scares in the game or anything that'll give you really bad nightmares, but it succeeded in making me feel uneasy. And for nailing the atmosphere while running smoothly, it's definitely getting a grade. Third up is sound, and wow, it really blew me away. This is by far one of my favorite gaming soundtracks ever. Every single song is catchy, yet has this unique chiptune style that's so weird. Imagine Mega Man meets Earthbound, except it's actually catchier. Yep, I went there, I'm gonna go run to my safe house now. What's even cooler is that out of nowhere, the game ditches a chiptune aesthetic and goes all out instrumental. It's a huge contrast and in a way feels like the music's trying to break free of the constraint. It's amazing. It's iPod worthy. And if you pay 10 Canadian dollars, you get the soundtrack in FLAC and waveform with the game. So go out there and show the developers some love. I'd say even if you're not going to play it, that it's still worth buying for video game music enthusiasts. So obviously, it's getting a grade. It would get more if I could. And fourth up is length. Now with depths, this game should take you about 6 hours the first time, and there's a Mibibli difficulty to try too. But since I'll be talking about the game's secrets here, I'm gonna make this a spoiler section, so if you don't want to know the ending, skip to this time frame. You got it? Okay, now I don't feel bad, let's get started. So first off, there's a secret ending that you can access by finding 3 secret stages within other stages. Finding them will take you to Humanibli's lairs, which I highly recommend waiting to do until you have all the power-ups. These stages, even on easy, are pretty difficult, and taking out Humanibli is brutal without certain weapons, but I still see them as a welcome challenge. Well, except when you beat Humanibli, because every time you do, you take something from him. First is its suit, then it's his... Oh god, not again! Why would you do that? I can't even show you the third stage. It's just some naked 8-bit dude jumping around. PG rated show, everybody. So anyway, once you get his clothes and his skin, you have to put it on a pentagram with a hammer and a slice of blueberry pie and jump on the spot. Why am I even explaining this? Then you get a huge laser where you can just kill Crocodibli at the beginning of the game. It's beautiful. And now I'm moving on forever and never talking about this again. The other replayability comes as a good ending in Mibibli mode, where you go through a boss rush and a level rush at the end of the game. Like I said, this difficulty is really hard though, and I found myself just replaying the game on easy when I went back to it. It's too much for me personally, but that's just me. Even though it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, because there was almost no difference whatsoever between the bad and the good ending besides these little snake guys going Not to mention there's no final boss despite showing it off in the credits, and you're intentionally supposed to feel disappointed. That said, it's not all bad. Getting the good ending unlocks speedrun mode, which cuts out scripted sequences, and lets you focus on getting good at the game. Maybe there's more and I just haven't found it. I mean, not many people have discussed this game online, so I guess it really depends. But based on what's been found by players, including myself, this game has a serviceable amount of content, so it's getting a good. In conclusion, Mibibli's Quest was the most memorable gaming experience I've had in years, if not ever. It's about Mibibli. He has a rival, Crocodibli. Pretty much these two guys want to kill each other and the world sucks for some reason. But looking back, that world was the best mess that I've had the pleasure of going into. It's less about reaching the end and even less about the adventure getting there. It's about having fun in the deep subconscious of Ryan Melmott's mind. And the sooner you stop fighting the weird, the sooner you'll be immersed in it. If there's one thing I learned from Mibibli's Quest, it's to accept the weird in gaming. Sometimes you'll get good games. Sometimes you'll play games that take the safe route. Sometimes you'll play games that make you find hammers to get rid of a cow. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is if you had fun, if you truly enjoyed what you played, and if the game really left a memory for you to treasure forever. And if that memory will stay there no matter what the game is about. Mibibli's Quest was unknown. It's a game I managed to stumble upon in a small article, but it was so good, so memorable to me that I made it my mission to show it to all of you. And at the end of the day, that's why I do videos, to share my adventures in gaming with everyone who will listen, no matter how obscure it may be. Mibibli's Quest was truly the game I was searching for. And it's great! So, if you like what you saw today with Mibibli's Quest, and it's appropriate for you, I put the link in the description to where you can download it. I know it's not on Steam, but in its current state, I don't think it would get approved without some sort of censorship. And don't even get me started on the ESRB. I can only imagine what they'd say if they got this on their front step. In fact, seemed about right. Okay, so these were actually my keys and I can't get them down. I'm trying to... Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Yes! Oh, but the tape is still there. I messed up.